Not yet. We're getting into the waiting room. Meow. Meow. Mr. William. There we go. Let me bring that up so I can share it on Facebook.
Let me know.
Oh, you're not. You can't see past the sign. There was a photo of someone, they had a laundry basket that they were putting gas into. And it's like, all right, well, we had a good run, Earth, but I think we're done. Because there's a guy filling up a small little, like, a 1 gallon gas can there, and he has a sign taped to his back. It says, "It's for my lawnmower, I promise." Oh, there's, yeah, stocking up. Some guy even tried to fill a styrofoam container with it, and it's like, that's how you make napalm.
What's going?
The gas shortage from a few weeks ago. There was. Not bad at all, because people were panic buying it like they did toilet paper. Yeah. Yeah. This company ended up paying like 3 million in Bitcoin to have the data returned, and everything was fine. Well, the hackers were smart to demand Bitcoin, because then it can't be traced or into a bank account or anything, or shut down or removed. So, not surprised. Just could not believe it.
Hello and welcome to Cookies Enabled, everyone. I am Will, your host, and next to me here is Andrew, my editor and longtime friend here, and we are going to be talking about the science, tech news, history, myths, busting things, and current awesome technology. So stick around, let's learn something new together today, and we have a bunch of really cool topics, a lot of space topics. Nothing with SpaceX, technically. No SN launches or anything like that, unfortunately, today, which is kind of depressing. But, Andrew, you were telling me that it does look like maybe next week or the week after next, we could be getting another SN15 launch, hopefully pretty soon here. So, fingers crossed for that. That's exciting. So,
Yeah,
hopefully.
we're hoping. I mean, we also saw SN15 land perfectly well. Everything was nominal. So they're doing some tests. They have already moved it back onto a launch pad, which is a good sign.
That's a great sign.
It means they could either do just another static fire to make sure the engines work again,
Right.
or they might try for another launch of it. And if so, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something to see for sure. So hopefully we'll get that information to you as soon as it happens, or we know more information. But yeah, so this week.
I'm getting an echo
Uh-oh.
from YouTube feed on mine.
On your end? Oh dear. That's
I
interesting.
don't know if it's on yours or not, but
Yeah, I don't have any echo on mine, surprisingly.
yours sounds good. Mine, there's an echo.
Oh, there we go. Try saying something now.
Well, let's see. It's delayed a second or two, but
Yeah, so
I'll
it
know.
might take a few minutes here. I had a excuse me. I had a desktop audio too. Surprisingly, I'm not really sure why I had that set up. Sorry, everybody. Audio issues as usual. Welcome to live TV, where most of our time we're fixing audio issues. Hopefully, you don't have an edit.
It's good.
Is it good? Okay, I think that's what it was because every time you said something, I had a double bar, and I'm not really sure why. So I just muted one of them.
Oh yeah. We might see it launch for another, 10-kilometer test. It looks, however, that SM-17, the next one, or 16, possibly if they don't scrap it, could be the full 20-kilometer hot test.
Nice. Okay.
And if so, then probably 17 will be strapped to the booster, they call it BN1,
Right.
booster number 1. That would be a full orbital test.
Nice.
Now, they're not going to land that one like it. That's such a difficult test,
Right.
and it's so big they don't really have a good place to land it. So both the Starship and the booster will do soft landings in the ocean.
Okay.
They did that at the beginning with
Right.
the Falcon 9 as well.
Right. It's
They tested it, and it would do a soft, down. It would do a normal landing just onto water, not a platform.
Right. Right.
But it does give them all the data to know how well it's going to actually land when they have a place. So it'll either be somewhere a little more remote or the barge in the middle of the ocean,
Right.
which they are making progress on the oil rigs. So those are going. They did get a Starbase sign at Boca Chica lit up.
Really?
Giant, like 6-foot letters says Starbase. They lit it up recently.
Oh my gosh,
it looks
yes.
yes. But we're going to get an orbital test. I think they're aiming for late June.
Okay. That's not so bad.
So,
That's coming around the corner. So okay. So that'll be really cool. An orbital test, that would be huge.
They did another Starlink launch, but those are routine now.
Yeah.
They're doing them every few weeks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's kind of getting a little daunting to report on all the time. Another Starlink, more Starlink. It's going to be a while before they're complete with Starlink, and we'll probably report on it again when it's 100%, everything's floating around, and it's connected and working around the globe. I'm sure we'll do a full report on it, so definitely don't fret on that, everyone. So yeah, unfortunately, there's kind of a little bit of a break. We're waiting for them to kind of catch up, I guess, with us and get the next rocket ready to launch. So on a totally different topic here, and I don't know anybody personally that owns a foldable phone or any foldable device right now. I was gonna say I can't think of anybody on the top of my head. I know people that are excited about them and want them, but haven't jumped into the bandwagon yet. And as far as I remember, I think the only one that is on the market in the United States at this time is the Samsung Fold. Oh no, I'm sorry, that is not correct, because the BlackBerry's out. The Razr. Which is also technically a foldable screen. I've heard mixed reviews on that one. The critics loved it. People hate it. is pretty much how I've been reading that one. And that's kind of how the Samsung original Fold was, and then the Fold 2 came out, and everybody's been loving that one. That one has been a massive improvement, and there's rumors that the Fold 3, which I said last week, could be dust resistant and water resistant, which would be a huge step up for foldable technology. And I found that hard to believe last week. And then, of course, during the week, Samsung releases a video including all of this new foldable technology that kind of blew me away. So here's the video here. And this is, you can find it right on Samsung's YouTube site. So there's no audio in this. It's got a cool song playing in the background like Apple does and whatnot. But this is just displaying all their different screen technology because they've been working with Samsung OLED technology, which is not new. We're going to talk about why that's not new. Both Andrew and I were explaining that OLED is actually really old technology that's just being amped up so much more. But in this particular video, they show you a lot of technology I've been excited about, which is the under panel camera, which they just showed a second ago, and this is going to loop a few times, as well as a foldable laptop. So and this isn't new either, because Asus has done this, Dell has done this. This is not new. But from Samsung, this is a huge deal because their quality of screen has not really been met by many other than maybe Apple. Is the only real competitor I can think of that can compare. I mean, Dell's got some good screens. I'm not saying they don't, but
Well,
they're not
Samsung
foldable.
with their Galaxy phone line,
Hmm.
their screen technology, I think, has went way beyond some others. Like you said, Apple. I
Right.
mean, with their Retina displays,
Retina is
those
huge.
are,
Great display. Yep.
and we haven't seen much in computers from Samsung recently.
Mm-mm. No.
They've focused on mobile, but now, honestly, this foldable screen technology might work better
Yeah.
now for a computer. It also, I would think, lasts longer
Right.
because it's not riding around in your pocket every day.
Exactly. Exactly. Like they show the kind of this Z fold that this woman's carrying around. Looks kind of like a pocketbook. And she tells her weather, plays her music. It even has like a triangular charging station, which I thought was kind of creative. So that would mean that your screen is constantly in a bent position, which in my mind means it's going to wear out even faster. OLED, usually the more you bend it, the more it's going to wear out. But that kind of goes with all technology. I even have an LED or a little Logitech phone with this is a microphone that's bendable, and I got a warranty on this because it's got a hinge that could break, and it never needed it. It still works to this day, 10 years later. So I mean, I can't guarantee that your screens are going to do that. Definitely not. I think these could maybe go 3 to 5 years, and then you're starting to get wear and tear, cracks in the screen, pixels that are going out completely when you fold it or unfold it or whatnot, or flickering. So we'll see how this goes. This is amazing technology, though, and it's definitely right around the corner. And we've already got devices out that do some of this stuff. I think that slide out Galaxy is definitely going to be something we're going to see, if not in 2022, probably 2023, definitely. I'd be really surprised if that's not already somewhat in production. And to kind of demonstrate that, this was a CES video from Dell in 2020 that shows a foldable laptop. And this one was called Ori, I think is how they pronounced it. It's ORI, which I'm not really sure exactly what that stands for. But they kind of go into some detail in the video. Again, I don't have the audio playing. You can check this out right on Dell's YouTube page, which is right where I got the video. So, but again, it gives you a bunch of different options, like a book option, a laptop option, or a tablet, like a full slate option, which again is obviously completely flat. And the laptop runs a Windows kind of interface that kind of molded with what you were trying to use it with. So if it's in laptop mode, it'll give you the keyboard. If it's in slate mode, it's expecting you to use the pen, and so on and so forth kind of thing. This is what I think we're going to see from Samsung, Lenovo, HP. I think they're all going to start pumping out all kinds of foldable devices. And I actually think this is going to be something that's going to be not only hard to get, but it's going to be reasonably priced. It's not going to be crazy, blow your mind expensive. I mean, the laptops are going to be thousands of dollars guaranteed, but they're going to work way better than your phones ever will, and those mini foldable devices. That's a lot harder to do than a bigger standalone laptop device. So that's where I'm excited about. Getting rid of the bezel and just making the whole thing a foldable screen device is awesome. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. I see some people popping up over there. Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Mind
Hopefully you
over
like our
Matt.
topics today.
I mind over Matt.
So I see Mind Over Matt has tuned in. I appreciate you, Matt. Thank you so much. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think about these foldable tablets and screens and phones and everything becoming a foldable. I mean, you can even get foldable, kind of like in I think it was Back to the Future 2, where they have the pull down screen. Oh, it's broken. We're gonna have to call the cable guy or whatever to come out and
No,
fix it,
I
honey.
remember that.
So we're almost there, and I think that was 2015, I think, or 2012 or something is what year they decided to go or something like that. So we're really close.
2015,
Wasn't it
yep,
2015?
2015.
Miss Al. So Miss
Uh,
Al, thank you so much for tuning in as well. Do I think the foldable screen is new future of devices? I hate to say it, but yes, unfortunately, I think this is kind of where things are going to go because if you think of it in terms of durability of a laptop, you're not going to have keys popping off, wearing off. It's one giant screen. It's one thing to take care of. That's easier for them to manufacture. At least it should be. But I think this is also kind of a double-edged sword because these screens are not easy for us to manufacture yet. So more demand is going to be a good thing because it's going to kick those factories in gear and get these into the market more. But I think you'll always see traditional laptops, traditional phones. You'll always have something with a
tablets, that
button
sort
on
of
it.
thing.
It won't just completely take over. I don't think it's going to be that quick. So hopefully that answers the question. I don't. I think this is
Well,
personally going to be about a 5 to 10 year transition of foldable technology.
well, if you asked me this a few months ago or last year when the first Samsung's Fold
Right.
came out, I would have thought at that point it could become the future, but they really have to keep the momentum going
Right.
to keep people's interest because it could be like the
He's asking how many years
how do
to
I put
perfect the
it could be
screen.
like a really cool new idea
Right.
that people love when they see the first releases, and then they forget about it because it never comes to market
Thank you.
in a good way,
Yes.
and it
Yes.
just
Just like
no one uses
HoloLens.
it
Yeah.
anymore. They
Exactly.
decide we're not making money. We're just going to scrap this idea. But this looks like we're getting that
Right.
momentum that I would have thought about. We're seeing it used not just in
Right.
phones, but now going to tablets, which might help that technology to stay
That's
alive.
exactly.
The fact that
I
Dell's
don't
getting it
know.
into it now. I don't see Apple doing this for a
Yeah, I think
while.
Apple's going to be
Just
late to
they
this
just
one.
did a full release, and it doesn't really fit with their whole design ethic right now and what they're trying to bring to
Right.
market.
Now, Miss Ayala is asking
Eventually,
how many years before this is perfect technology and I can just go buy it and not have to worry. I would say
2 years.
for if you're buying an OLED like standard TV, that technology is already perfected to this day. Go buy that TV. But if it's a flexible, foldable something, this is technically I would consider beta, and I know you know what that means. So definitely want to kind of either get a warranty on it, kind of get some extra protection because it's probably not going to last as they're advertising. I'd give it another 5 years at least of foldable
I
technology
think
for them to really
less.
work out all the kinks and get this to perfection. At least 5 years. At least for Samsung, they're
Well, I
pretty
think
quick.
less if there's a demand.
Yeah,
That's the thing. If there's enough demand and they're bringing in enough
that's true.
money from that, then that's going to be a reason for them to push the technology further.
Exactly.
So we'll see. But again, like you said, getting a warranty is good because so many people have complained of already having to replace screens.
Right.
The Razor looked cool
Oh
because
yeah, it
we all
was
had
really
one
cool.
when we were young, and but I've heard the screens have been cracking along the
I've
seams.
heard this
The
too.
front screen isn't the best. I do like the small front screen, which is a cool
That is so
concept.
cool. I love
Uh,
that.
but the Razor was a bit more of a nostalgia thing
Yep.
for us. I believe that was never going to be
No,
huge.
no,
Um,
never.
but it looks like Samsung's phones, though. I mean, they've been leading this industry for a
I mean, like I
decade.
said, I've only been buying Samsung for the past almost decade, actually. Since the Samsung
Samsung,
S3, I have been
LG,
buying about every third to, just generation or so because the technology gets better. And it gets
did
a
LG
more
jump on board?
secure and more sturdy. I mean, I don't even have a case on my phone, and it's still okay.
Holy shit.
So, anyway.
You know,
um,
now that you just talked about not having a case, you're going to
I
drop it
am.
today and
I'll
it's going to.
probably break it today. But I also have extended protection, so I could go right to my T-Mobile
Oh, there
store,
you go.
pay $15, and they'll give me another phone. So no big deal. Anyway, So, perfect foldable technology, definitely outside of our reach, but really, really close. Obviously, our people are working on it. They're working really, really hard on this. And they have been working on this for literally decades, since we were kids and LED technology became organic LED technology, is really where that was. I mean, that was really early 90s is when OLED started coming out, and these screens were super tiny. I mean, like 2 or 3 inches. And I actually had a Motorola flip phone. It's in one of my boxes over here. That is an OLED screen, but even that is got some color fading in it, because that was an issue with OLED when they first came out. Your reds and your blues would fade over time. The more you watched your TV, the more those colors would fade.
Oh,
Now that's no
they're
longer the
organic,
case.
so they are going to do it.
But
It's in its name,
yeah,
you know.
so it's no longer the
But
case
you know,
anymore,
and
at least with
the big
OLED.
issue is, like you said, losing color or dead pixels. Because the moment you see one dead pixel on your
It's all you
TV,
see.
you will never not see it,
That's all you see. Even if
and
it's the
it's
tiniest
so
thing.
annoying. It's one, and it's always like bright white or
Or,
green,
yeah, some
and it's
vibrant color.
always somewhere you'll notice.
Oh, man. So, screen technology definitely has a ways to go. I think some people, I really think Apple will be coming late in this, because I know they're working with the best of the best, and they probably have all of the designs that we just saw from Samsung and more also in their own laboratory. And kind of shame on them if they haven't tried to do things. I've seen a bunch of patents from Apple that look similar to a lot of the devices we just saw from Samsung. So definitely, I know they're working on something. I would not be surprised to see this probably in the next 5 years from Apple. Something foldable, something with an expanding screen or something like that. I can almost guarantee, because they'll perfect that, and they're just watching and waiting. It's kind of what they did with the smartwatch. Samsung and everybody beat them to it, and then like a year or two later,
Yeah,
they perfected it with the Apple Watch, and now everybody I know has Apple Watches. So, only a
and
few people I
Fitbit,
know have
I
the
know,
Samsung.
was
So,
coming around at that
right,
time. I mean, that was not didn't have the level of connectivity
right,
that
right,
like the Google Wear OS or Apple's OS watches did. It was just a fitness tracker,
exactly,
but I think Apple looked at that to see, is this something people are going to
right.
buy? Like, they're smart.
They were
They'll
very
do their
smart.
market research, and they won't bring something to the table until they know that it's going to make them billions.
Right. And I think that foldable phones, tablets, laptops, especially, that's what I'm interested in. I think that's all got a huge market. And I think it's hidden. I don't think people even know they even want these devices. And I think once it gets really, easily manufacturable, we'll start to see it from everybody. Like I said, if Dell's already working on it, guaranteed Lenovo, HP, all of them, and probably as IBM might even be working on them. I don't know. A poor IBM, I
And
should
Apple,
should
like you said,
mention.
we're seeing
I'm sorry.
a resurgence from Apple
Right.
now, I
Yeah.
think. I think we're at the very beginning. I know I talked last month on how they just seem to have stagnated,
Right.
and it didn't have the
It
feel
doesn't.
back
No.
before we lost Steve
Poor
Jobs.
Jobs. Ugh.
But
It's just
then,
terrible.
what was it? 2 weeks ago, they come out with the new
Yeah.
iMacs,
Color.
and
Color
that felt
schemes.
like old school Apple.
It's
Like
just
when they're finally bringing something, not just a slightly different, but pretty much the same iPhone. We saw something brand new,
exactly.
something completely different. So this sort of folding technology could be something in their back
I think
pocket
so.
that eventually,
I would
like,
not be
okay, we got a
surprised.
new iPhone this year, guys, but this is going to be a crazy
Yeah.
iPhone, and everybody's going to lose their minds
It's gonna like reinvent the phone market, I think, again. And I think that's
again.
what they're waiting for. They're just waiting for everybody to kind of like play with it and have their fun, and it'll just come out with a bang. So that's what I'm expecting. I know they've been working on it, probably under the press room or something. That's what Microsoft used to do. They had a secret room underneath where they do all their press conferences. So they'd invite the press over and talk about a totally different topic while they're working on secret stuff right underneath them, and they didn't know about it, which I think is kind of ironic. But anyway, so totally off topic. Um, we have a bunch of space news. I just want to hint to, I heard an interesting topic about IBM. I guess they were apparently, for the last like decade, have been really low on the hackers list. But ever since that pipeline hacker attack, they have jumped up to the third most hacked company in the world, which is just amazing to me. What are they hiding? Why does everybody want to hack IBM all of a sudden? And I don't even care for IBM, but if you think that you don't need IBM, go to the store, any store, and I guarantee they'll have an IBM register. Oh, Miss Yale said something. Let's see. Phone screens seem to be bigger every year. Do you think the phones will start to reduce their size again now that laptops and other devices have big screens? I don't know, and I kind of want to blame the adult industry for this. I know Andrew and I have talked about this. Phones were getting
Yeah.
smaller and smaller until people realized they could watch all those naughty videos and things on their
Once
phone.
3G came along and they
Suddenly the
realized
screens
we
are
can
getting
watch this
bigger.
on our phone. Yep,
So I
exactly.
think this is a
Uh,
trend that's going to stick around with things getting bigger rather than getting smaller. But I will say,
I
I
think this
think
stays stagnant.
thinner is going to be a thing of the
Yeah,
future.
I think your phone right there is probably the size that we're going to stick with. It's not horribly
No,
massive.
it's actually great. I absolutely love this size. It's almost a little too
There's no
big, but I have
reason
tiny
for it
hands.
to get any larger than that, I think,
Yeah,
especially like he's saying with laptops and those sort of screens. Um, it also, I think, filled a niche in the market too,
right,
where at that point laptops were a little bigger, they were a little bulky, but now you have like the Surface Pros
right.
that you can fold keyboard back.
Yep,
You have the new
yep,
iPads. Uh,
yep.
even even Amazon's Fire
Yeah,
tablets, they
those are
have I think
great.
a 10-inch tablet, which is a pretty good
Yeah, they're
size.
great for
So
kids. It's
tablets
super
have kind of
durable.
filled that in.
Yep,
I think that the phone screens are going to stick around
yeah,
the 6-inch diagonal
yeah.
size.
And I think we'll
No
see.
reason for them to really get bigger. I don't think they're going to get
No,
smaller though.
I don't think.
They're
Well,
not
I
going to
don't know.
get back down. It's not,
It's
we always joke about Zoolander and his little tiny
yeah.
phone.
Hello.
Want to be able to do everything on our phone, you don't want to walk around.
Right.
You're going for a walk with a big ass tablet. You want something that fits in your pocket, that fits in your hand, and you can still
Right.
browse through Facebook, Snapchat,
But
TikTok,
I
whatever.
mean, I guess we'll
So I
have to
don't
wait
see
and
them getting
see.
much smaller.
I don't
I
know.
think they'll stay about where they are.
Yeah.
That's where they need to be right
And
now.
I agree. I completely think that everything's going to pretty much kind of hover around the same size. But with the foldable technology, they might give you an option, like I said, to expand the screen out and make it a tablet or something. I mean, we've seen that in the videos. So I know they've actually. I think Apple has patented a similar device as well with a extending screen of some kind. But it was a very vague patent. So I see more of screens getting bigger rather than a smaller. But I think that the idea of bringing back spare screens and mini screens is another big trend, where putting a screen on the back of the camera, just a tiny one, maybe displaying a little bit of information. Now, Samsung has done this with the Edge. They had an Edge phone for a while. It would light up your text messages right on the edge of the phone. And that was
Mm.
kind of cool. And I think you can kind of still do that with some of them. Mine isn't curved enough that I'd want to do that. But I
Or
don't
the
know.
Razer had its mini screen, I know.
Unfortunately.
And now I think they'll stick this way. They might get smaller eventually if we can eventually get to a level of good quality holographic
Thank
technology.
you. Thank
Um,
you for bringing that
like
up.
I'm picturing the Senate hearing from I think it's Iron Man 3.
Yes.
No, or 2. One of those where he has his little. It looks like an old LG flip
Oh,
phone, but
that's
you
two.
can
I'm pretty
bring
sure
up
that's two.
little you can bring up some of the holographic images in the air in front of it.
Yeah.
Now that would allow phones to be smaller again because your screen can be as small or as big as you choose.
Yeah. And last time I checked, we were nowhere with
But we are
holographic
far
technology.
away from that, I think.
Yeah.
In the right environment and circumstances, we can do some pretty good stuff with holograms, but it's still only from certain angles. Massive, just bulky
I mean,
technology.
not something
So
you're going to carry
maybe
in your
within a
pocket
decade.
or on a
But
wrist.
a decade ago, we
Right.
didn't realize what we'd have now.
Right.
A decade ago, if you said
I
that
was going to have a Pentium
SpaceX would be
5.
launching Starlinks every week and a
Right.
half to give internet to everybody at speeds faster than Comcast might
Right.
give
I
us,
wouldn't believe it.
we'd have thought you were
I would have
insane.
laughed at you.
Or 8K TVs. never heard
Yep.
of it. So I mean, technology. Uh, I think I've discussed it before. Moore's law
Yes. Thank you.
of
Yes.
um, shrinking in size, expanding in
Yeah, pretty much at
capacitor
some point you
capacity.
won't be able to get any smaller because you can't have an atom, you can't have two atoms in the same spot, and eventually that's what's going to happen is that in order to get,
Well, you
I mean, we have to
sort of that,
multi-dimension it or
but
something. And I think that's where quantum's going to come in. I think that's where quantum's
yeah,
going to save us all. We'll hit this wall right as quantum is going to, because it's quantum computing is coming. All of them are working on
it's
it,
already here.
including
I mean, they have quantum
IBM.
supercomputers.
So we'll see. I know that'll be a breakthrough. If IBM doesn't get there before everybody else, I think Intel might. There's also rumors that AMD's been working on quantum computers for like decades or something, and secretly not talking about it, which I have no evidence
It
of this,
sounds
so
like
I can't.
AMD.
I don't even want to bring it up really, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Um, I'm excited because yeah, I mean, again, when they went around the moon, they didn't even have like a TI-83 calculator. I mean, they had that technology built into the spacecraft barely, like
I
So
believe the guidance computer on the lander,
isn't that the same thing as the
not in the
TI-83?
command module, but on the
Right.
lander, didn't even have enough memory
Oh God.
to hold a photo of
Oh my
itself.
God.
I mean, the fact that they were able to program like
There
they
you
would
go.
have to reprogram this landing computer for every single operation it had to do
Wow.
because you had to complete an operation, flush the memory, program in the new one because you didn't have room for all of that. And then if it crashes,
Uh,
you're kind of screwed because now you're sitting on the moon with a broken computer.
wow. Okay. Well, speaking of space stuff, we got some interesting Voyager 1 news. So Voyager 1, for those of you that don't know, there are two Voyager spacecrafts. They were originally designed to look at Jupiter and Saturn, and they did, and they were very successful at this. But instead of putting them out of commission, they decided to send them to the depths of space by pretty much just spinning them out into the solar system as fast as we could get them. And now they are almost completely to the interstellar medium here. This is a little video that I'm showing you of their trajectories through our solar system from their launch. And this is straight from NASA's website. Again, so if you don't believe me, you can go right to their website and look all of this up. We do know that both are still reporting, even though they're 28 billion miles away or something ridiculous. It's retarded amount of miles. Million. I think I'm saying that wrong. I think it's 28 million miles away. But it takes days, if not months and years, for the messages to get back and forth. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But
So there's a chance that one of them did break now, but we won't know for a bit.
and they only have a couple years
Still,
left of power. They are running, like the nuclear reactors and whatnot, but they've been running them for like 50, 60 years, so they really don't have much energy left. By now, the
and
uranium's
then
pretty
Carl
worn
Sagan
out.
convinces NASA to turn one around and take a photo of Earth. The pale blue dot, if anybody
I do remember
isn't
that.
familiar, just Google pale blue
Yep,
dot. It's
it was one of the.
an amazing
It's
image.
so cool.
Carl Sagan convinced NASA to turn Voyager around and take a photo, and you can just see this again, just this tiny little, almost one pixel,
Yep.
everything that's ever happened in humanity, right there. And I think they released, there was an anniversary, I think last year. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up, but they released like a enhanced version of that
Oh, they
photo. They
probably
took some
did. I would not
data.
be surprised by that at
You
all.
could really
Yeah,
see
this
it.
technology
It
is
looked
so old, but the sensors are still working and surprisingly still reporting information as they are flying through our interstellar space. Which, if you don't know what it is, I'm going to pull up the map right now for you. So this map is pretty detailed. In fact, it takes up both our screens. So I'm sorry about that. But it's amazing, and it shows where Earth is and where the sun is, and it also shows exactly where the wall of our universe is. And this is the interstellar zone between our universe and another, I guess, technical universe. There's just should be nothing there. It should be completely nothing, not at all. Now they're not 100%. If you look at this the diagram, Voyager 1 is almost outside of the interstellar zone. And the interstellar medium is full of plasma waves, small, big, all different sizes. And I have an article I will post in the comment section about this as well. Or not the comment section, I'm sorry, but in the details section after the video. And it will go into all this detail as to what the waves are. But I have a video of the sound. I know it sounds weird, a video of the sound. But you'll
Yeah,
see what I
they
talk
can
about
say
here in a second.
it's basically where anything in there is no longer influenced by any gravitational waves from the sun, from anything in our solar system. It's like getting out into the deep
Exactly.
sea and no effect on anything else until you get far enough and you get close enough to another
Right.
star, and then its gravity well will start to affect you again.
So I'm hoping you can hear
Um,
the video. If you
it,
can't, I'll post the link for it. But this one, it's really
headphones.
quick. It sounds like somebody whistling, and it's going to keep replaying for us here, so you'll get to hear it a couple of times. Here we go. And this is a plasma wave just hitting Voyager 1 as it's traveling through space.
I just
Did you
heard
hear
it.
it?
That's really
Sounds like a
cool.
whistle.
It
Now,
is a
we would
whistle.
not be hearing this with our ears. If we were floating through space, just listening and not dying somehow, we would not be able to hear this audibly with our ears. They are using, again, plasma readers and technology to indicate pressures of waves hitting it, and that's kind of reverbed as a sound.
So it shows on there. It shows the frequency? It looks like
It's
so.
really cool stuff. Really, really cool because this is
It's
all
got to be
new.
high energy for them to last that long. If it was a low energy wave, it would have dissipated by now. Um, Again, you're not technically
No.
hearing it. They're translating it into audio
Yes.
because obviously
Yes.
um, it has to
That's how we
it
can
has to be
interpret
some
it, essentially.
medium for the sound to travel
Right.
through. So, I mean, if you were out there in a spaceship, you would never hear this, but it's still the concept. Once those waves interact with a microphone or something, then there is
A reverb.
a
And
way to
voila.
detect and
Yep.
record.
Very cool stuff. Super cool. And this is monumental because we kind of theorized about interstellar space, what it'd be made out of, how it works. And lo and behold, Voyager 1 is here to prove that that was actually correct. We were dead on right. And these plasma waves indicate that. And hopefully, we can actually get all the way to the interstellar zone. I'm going to bring that back up here so you guys can see that. So the interstellar zone is between our galaxy and another galaxy. Now, Voyager only has, I think Voyager 1 and 2 maybe have a max of 5 to 6 years estimated of, atomic energy left, essentially, before their systems die, essentially. And that is if we can even continue to contact them once they get outside the interstellar zone. Because we honestly don't know. We don't know if our radio waves, if anything, will be able to communicate that far. We have really no idea. And some scientists have said that once it officially gets to the interstellar zone, technically it should not be able to communicate anymore. And a lot of scientists are like, that is wrong.
Well,
It
there's
goes
no
back
way
and
to
forth. I guess
record it.
it flip a coin. I don't know. We'll
To
see.
give you an idea of the scale, though, I mean, this thing is
Okay.
basically on a path towards our closest neighboring star, Alpha
Right.
Centauri.
Right. Well,
It's going to take, um,
what?
what does it say?
Billions of years
I'm
or
looking
something?
at how long it's going to take.
Sorry, I see your question, Miss Al. I'm going to get to it in just a second here. Sorry. He's asking, what's the reason for
About
tracking the plasma waves?
78,000 years for Voyager to reach our closest star.
Wait, I'm sorry. The what? How many years?
78,000.
Yeah, so no, it's not going to have energy for that long. I don't think we could even do that. Maybe with fusion
Oh,
energy, but
it'll keep moving.
well,
It's
yeah,
not going to
it'll keep
stop,
floating unless something hits it or
but
bumps it or
it'll be dead.
hits it
It'll
or
end up just
gravitational
burning up
swing.
somewhere, or
But
and
yeah, we'll see.
at
So
that point, just
Miss
another piece of
Al's
space.
he's asking about the reason for tracking the plasma waves. He would like some education there. So I'm not 100%. I think again, this is them just trying to prove a theory. They were theorizing that this should be made up of different plasma waves that are discharged from the sun, but didn't get blocked by a planet or an asteroid or anything, and they've just kind of got caught in that same sun's gravitational field. And so this is becoming kind of a wave form, just like our ozone for our planet, but it's like an ozone for the sun. And so that's like our ozone for our whole universe almost. But these
Very
are,
dissipated.
again, this was a theory, and now it's kind of been proven. I think that's why they were trying to track them and figure out what was the movement. But I'm not 100% sure. I think that maybe they were kind of curious as to what the noise was entirely. Because I think some scientists thought they were in the interstellar zone, and if we were, there should be no noises at all. There should be
I think
nothing.
once they get out there,
So,
it's sort of, well, we have these theories on what might be in interstellar space. We have some concepts based on everything else we know of cosmology.
right,
And hey, we have a probe that just happens to be out there. So let's just turn on its sensors and see what we can find.
right.
Uh, they didn't really obviously send Voyager out there specifically to study
That
this,
would have
but
been cool, but no, they did not, unfortunately.
someone they, they started trying to understand exactly what is out there. Again, interstellar space should be void of all matter. It is, for the most part, but
Yeah.
there could be pockets of dark matter, dark energy. Again, these waves. And if you've got a probe out there, you might as well look for
Right.
them.
And luckily, this
It
probe
wasn't the
does have a
primary
gravitational sensor on it,
mission.
which is what detected the plasma wave, which is exactly what a plasma wave is, pretty much. It's kind of like what is, when we have like a solar storm or something. That's pretty much the same thing that's hitting the planet, but it just gets
So
caught
these
in
are
its
like the
own
remnants
sun's
of that
gravitational pull,
old.
and it's a bubble. Here, I'll bring
Yeah,
the
it's
probe.
just an old remnant of that that's just barely like you throw a pound into the water,
Right.
the waves are going to dissipate. But even several meters away from that small splash, you're going to have the tiniest little bit. We When we detected gravitational waves a
Right.
few years ago, that was the same thing. Those ripples in space-time were sent out billions of years
Right.
ago, and we were just now able to detect them to come up with sensors that were advanced enough to detect gravitational waves. And that's very difficult to do because you're dealing with um,
Right.
basically you're bouncing lasers perpendicularly.
I can't even imagine trying to.
If everything is controlled for, those lasers should go to one end and come back at the exact same
Yeah.
time. Now, if one of them hits a gravitational wave, the tiniest delay,
Is it a bit?
you're talking billionth of a billionth of a second difference. That's very hard to
Oh
detect.
yeah.
So these sort of things, these plasma waves would be very difficult to detect. You have to be in the right place, the right time, know what you're looking for. Um,
Surprisingly,
but
Voyager 1
again,
just
the
happened
fact
to
that
run
we
into
can
some.
experiment sort of things using basically ancient technology.
Very much so.
Um, and we could do a lot more if we could send more
Information.
advanced
Yeah.
probes out there. But again, to get there, we're going to have to wait another 50
Right.
years.
Well, and
So
so
whatever we build now and
yeah,
launch,
I'm hoping we'll
we're going
get
to have to wait
more
50 years to
propulsion
even
technology
test
soon, which will allow us to get even quicker
fast.
to there. I think by the end of our lives, we will easily be seeing us sending deep space missions to places. I mean, if we don't kill ourselves before then, or things go horribly wrong, I think yes, I think this is exactly where we are heading for deep space mining. All of that stuff, I think, is going to become a huge deal. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. This is really cool news though because we're just learning more and proving things that again we were just totally theorizing before. Even the interstellar wind kind of blew my mind because it even shows it in our map here. Interstellar wind is not what you think it is. And it's actually just more of the whole universe is moving with the movement of the sun, and that is technically causing a wind or a tail of magnetic stream. I don't have a good picture of it, unfortunately. You can look it
It's
up. It's definitely cool to learn about.
essentially high energy particles moving through space-time, or space-time itself moving and warping due to um, interactions with large masses like a star or
Exactly.
a black
And
hole.
I
That
really hope we get to learn a little bit
wind
about
is the
that from
best
Voyager
word we
1, but we'll
can
see.
use.
I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Those sort of words, it's hard.
Yeah,
You
it
can
is.
call it wind, or you can call it sound. It's not technically that, but it's the best way to put it where you can at least grasp the concept without having to know the math and having to have two doctorate degrees in astrophysics
Right.
and,
Exactly.
be Carl Sagan, basically.
Yeah. Okay, the last thing I wanted to hit on, or that we wanted to talk about was, uh,
Another sound in space.
yeah, I know I put it on here. I can't find it though. What did I title it as? Oh, yeah, here it is.
So this actually is sound, unlike the previous. This one, because there's an
This
atmosphere,
is true.
the Curiosity rover turned on its cameras again and recorded video. Good frame rate, good quality video.
Looks great.
Perseverance launching and kind of flying across the screen. But they caught audio of it as well. It's very hard to hear, but there is a very faint hum of the blades moving through Mars' atmosphere, which again, 1/6 the atmosphere of Earth, so it's really hard to
It's
capture
so
those
hard to
sounds,
hear.
especially.
It's like
Misael says, "Do you think Nolan's depiction of space was accurate?"
Oh.
I'm assuming he's talking about Interstellar.
Oh.
Relatively accurate.
Actually,
They had
I didn't hate it.
Astrophysicist Kip Thorne working on the film. And now Kip Thorne has a very long career in astrophysics and these sort of sciences.
Right.
So they had a very strong basis for what happened in that film. Some of it, no. The four-dimensional tesseract at the end, some of the, communicating with the past,
Yeah,
that's
that was a little maybe far-fetched, possibly. I don't know.
very
I mean,
far.
anybody's guess. Flip a
However,
coin again.
they did get a lot right.
I
The
love the
time
time
dilation,
relativity and how like it's
yeah,
30 years
you're
to
getting
one
close to the black
person
hole.
and
It's going to make a difference.
yeah.
The big thing that happened with that movie actually was the rendering of the black hole.
Yeah, that was also super
Now,
accurate.
they they created, I think it's basically a render engine to visualize what a black hole actually would look like. They didn't want old hokey sci-fi where you have this little black ball and a disc spinning around it. It's not quite accurate. That's, yes, there is an accretion disk around a black hole, but the intense gravitation in the center is going to warp light around it. So what you see in the movie is what they theorized a black hole would actually look like if you were able to get in a ship, fly out, and observe one.
So yeah, let
So
me.
they did the math,
I found a
they
picture
rendered it out.
from NASA,
Yeah, yes, you can pull it
and
up.
I'm gonna try to get it uploaded really quickly. Bear with everybody here. Sorry, guys. Hopefully, I can do this
So
right. Oh shoot!
pull up a
Bear with me.
photo
Bear with me.
of
I gotta
pull
actually
up a
click
photo
on it.
of the black hole from Interstellar, and after that, well, I want you to search
Well, I'm on NASA's website right now,
first.
so bear with me. I just found the one that NASA has emulated here that looks just like the Interstellar one. So that's why I'm gonna. It's a GIF
Mhm.
actually, so I'm gonna have to work on this. Really, bear with me, everybody.
Interstellar's black hole with the technology they used to render that out and what they discovered in making that, there were scientific papers written. It advanced interstellar physics.
It really did. Oh my God, it's huge.
And the craziest thing was a few years after we got the first real
Okay, there you
image
go. Now you
of a
should see
black
the image.
hole. We took the first ever photo of a black hole, and it
This
looked
is
ridiculously close
this is straight
to
from
the
NASA.
interstellar black hole.
They actually
That
took this
is,
picture and they've rendered it into a GIF, and this is right on their website. I will share where I just pulled this from. Um, but here you go. This looks
yeah,
just like Interstellar.
that's
Um,
yeah. Um,
hopefully you guys can see
Now
that.
that's a render. That's basically what we thought they would look like. It's
Pretty close. I know
all
some
of the
older.
papers written during the production of Interstellar pointed to this and said, this is what a black hole should look like. Now, if you find a photo, the first photo of a black hole, you should be able to bring that in easily. That's really cool. It
Yeah, that one
actually
I
looks
think
like,
was just this blurry one. Let me get you that one.
yeah, it's blurry.
It looks really weird. It looks like somebody's
That's
looking into you like an earlobe or something.
we're able to take
But that's
now
exactly what it looks like.
advancing technology. We're going to we're going to
And
be
the
able
light
to
wants
get
to
some
see.
much higher quality images, but it is really crazy how close it looks to what they theorized in Interstellar. Um, so yeah, it's very similar to it's the same concept of Jurassic Park.
There you go. So this is the still. This is one of the
Yeah,
many stills that NASA has pulled. And this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's actually an infrared shot. So there you're looking at the magnetic waves being released from the black hole's
going
energy that's
to
being
pop up.
spun
Yeah,
around its outer shell. And it's just like
that
breaking out.
it's multi-spectrum. There's infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, but it's a photograph, and you can see how the light is
Thanks for
warped
tuning in,
around.
LV. World history is very important, so that's good you didn't miss that. Sorry.
So going back to what Misael said,
Hmm.
yeah, there was a lot of accurate science in
Very accurate.
Interstellar. I think it was one of the better movies recently to come out. To that extent. You saw something similar in Jurassic Park when they were trying to build the
Mm,
3D models for the dinosaurs,
yep.
especially the T-Rex. Um, they had built the skeleton of the T-Rex in their modeling software, and based on its musculature and how it moved, they started animating it.
Right.
And the story goes, one of the animators watched this of the wireframe walking, said, "Give me a second," runs out of the room, comes back and shows a video of a chicken walking, and it was eerily similar, which did influence the science and some of
Right.
the theories that birds came from dinosaurs, and it provided more evidence for that. And a lot, Robert Bacher, a few other paleontologists used some of that data to influence their further work
Hmm.
and show, yeah, many dinosaurs did. Not all of them. Um, the birds are basically the dinosaurs that survived the meteor. Most of the others did not, but it was the small, tiny creatures that managed in the right portions of the world that weren't as affected. I mean, it was an extinction level event,
Yeah. Absolutely.
but we got birds from dinosaurs. We got chickens, and then chickens are ground up into chicken nuggets, and they're made in the shape of dinosaurs, so it's all come full circle.
Right. Oh, jeez. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I was just messing with things on my side here. So, I think we almost. Oh no, okay. We were talking about the not Voyager, but the Rover. There we go.
A
And the
Perseverance
helicopter.
helicopter.
That's
Yep.
right. I was like, I know we were talking
This
about
was
something I
Earth
can't
right.
remember.
So they're going to keep flying it a little bit. Again, it's a scouting drone basically to see where they should take the rover next. I want to look into it. They there's some report. I'm not sure how much stake I want to put into it yet, but someone says that they may have contaminated uh, Mars with microbial, like just microbes that hitched a ride on the rover, which I highly
Oh,
doubt because
huh.
they're built in clean rooms. They take every precaution they can because the whole point of
Right.
looking for life on Mars is you don't want to find it and go, oh wait, that's from Earth.
Right. So that's where I'm confused. Huh.
It just
Hmm.
said some scientist
Hmm.
warns that we may have done that, and
I don't know if I
whole
believe that.
that whole title of the article, it's a sensationalized title,
Right.
and it wasn't from a scientific journal. So most likely, someone read a comment where a scientist or from NASA says we have to be careful that we don't contaminate it, and they fly with it and say, "Oh, we're contaminating Mars." It also said something like we the life found on Mars, but we haven't found any on Mars. So
Yeah.
that's another
It's.
reason when you're reading about scientific topics, be it this or climate change or anything, know where the sources are coming
Right.
from, pay
And
attention
that's why
if
you don't
the
see us
articles show
rambling
up.
on and on about life found on Mars or the planets ending tomorrow or whatever. So, because there's,
If the article
unless we
says
have
something like, we have
definitive
done this,
evidence, like, we were not going to even talk about it. So, these things that we do bring up are very much, I can prove they're legit. Thank you, Elvie, for all those shout outs. You're awesome. So, yeah, like, really awesome. We've gotten tons of comments today. I'm really happy. Miss Al, LV, Matt, everybody was able to tune in today, so I really appreciate that. But yeah, we definitely need the likes and subscribes. Definitely don't forget to share on your Facebooks and your Instagrams. Everybody, let everybody know. We're trying to get out there a little bit more, and we need more topics too. So let us know what you guys want to see. If there's anything in particular, maybe we missed something, or you wanted us to go deeper into something. I know we really got into the foldable phone technology today. I was really excited when I pulled up my phone earlier this week and saw that technology post from Samsung. I was like, I literally just talked about that last week, and here it is. Now they're already pushing out new technology. So I'm really excited that we're able to bounce back and forth with our comments and whatnot. So definitely want to keep that up too. But I think that was pretty much it for us today. Did you have any other topics you wanted to hit on? I know we were talking about the chip shortage / hacker shortage as well. But yeah, I appreciate you, Miss Al. You're awesome, man. Yeah, this has been very helpful. Um,
this is a solid one. We got some people
oh
in.
yeah, yeah, it's been awesome, and definitely,
It's nice to have that interaction too.
I,
It's really cool when you guys, talk with us.
yes,
I don't think we would have spent nearly as much time talking about screen technology if it
right.
weren't for some of these
They were
questions,
great questions too.
um,
Very, very good
or
questions.
bringing up the black hole. That
Right.
was,
So cool. And luckily, my computer didn't crash while I was pulling up those images, so I will have extra content
and the
for you
video
guys.
worked. Um, Looks like your CPU usage was in pretty good shape
Yeah, I
too.
hit
So
63% and I still didn't get a warning message. So I have got my settings
that's
correctly
good.
adjusted so my graphic card and my CPU are throttling nicely together, which is great. It's warming up this room a lot, I can tell you. I don't know if you can see the sweat, but it's getting hot in here. Oh, let's say they do this every Wednesday. Tune back in. We'll
Oh, don't
definitely,
worry.
yeah.
He knows.
Yeah, we are here every Wednesday doing our news checkups, essentially. It's not really a cookies-enabled full episode, but we definitely bring up our full episodes and mention,
I
bring
will have a
really
few more of
drag all
those
that out.
edited and
So,
ready to go soon. It's like I said last week, it's been a little
oh,
crazy
yeah.
getting used to my new job, but I am hoping to at least get a few coming up within the next week or
Yep,
two.
I'm hoping to get some stuff
I
filmed
have
up this
a
week as
short
well.
on the drawbridge. The COVID episode will come out, and then we'll do something new after that. Not sure what yet,
Oh, yeah.
um, but we've got plenty of
We
ideas.
got some
We'll
good
come up with
episodes
stuff.
coming. We still got the COVID episode coming as well. Um,
Let us know
or
too
COVID
what you
episode
guys
1. I haven't even
like
started
to
episode 2
see.
yet. But yeah.
Like if there's a topic that you want us to do a video on, tell us.
And we have a getting to know the internet, how that all works, and clouds and phones and all that stuff is all coming as well. It's all in the pipeline essentially. So we've got a lot coming down the line. But every Wednesday we will be here to talk about really what we found in the news that is legitimate, real science. That has not been made up, or it's not theorizing. That's the other big thing. Is I try not to make this an opinion channel, but this is where we get to talk about topics. And yes, we will maybe state our opinion, but it's definitely not something that's again, it's just our personal belief. Nothing to take your two shakes at. I guess you could say I'm not 100% how to rephrase that there, but I think we hit everything today. Again, if you guys have any specific topics you want us to hit on in future episodes of What's New Wednesdays or in our full episode, maybe you want a full episode on the foldable screens and how that technology is going to be changing the future, I can totally do that too. So just let us know. And again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in today. Don't forget to like and share and subscribe. And again, I am Will, and Andrew is our editor here, and definitely been a huge part of it as well. He's got a cool video coming of the drawbridge. I think you just mentioned that not just a few minutes ago, right?
Yep.
I'm super
It's going to
excited
be
to
a
see
fun
that one
one.
because I haven't seen any of that footage yet, so I'm stoked. But yes, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day, and hopefully we all learned something new today, guys. I'll talk to you all later.